Good afternoon, everyone. So this afternoon session, the first one I'm starting is going a little bit deeper. I know this is after lunch, first session. I'll try to make it lively and interactive. If you have any questions while I'm on a slide or a particular topic, feel free to ask me, okay? I want this to be more interactive. I'll also follow Sameer's style, ask you to raise hands or give your opinions as we go through these sessions. So I'm going to use the slides as a guiding framework, but definitely the several speakers, starting from Sameer, then Dr. Reza, then our colleagues from Intel and Microsoft, definitely laid the foundation for how important is systems management for in a data center. So I'm going to cover 2 or 3 things, give a quick overview of systems management challenges in a data center, and then kind of get into the details on what Dell has accomplished in terms of innovation and simplifications in the 12th generation systems management. Okay, so what this talks about it, I think our colleague from Microsoft also talked about it, this evolution of the data center. Started with convergence and unification. You not only manage your servers, but you manage your storage and networking in a unified manner. That is kind of the first evolution. Then came the virtualization. So now we need to have to manage your physical infrastructure as well as virtual infrastructure in a seamless manner. Then cloud, I think there are multiple definitions. It is evolving, but definitely that is going to push the envelope for the systems management expected from multiple vendors. So this is a quick summary from an Gartner survey on where the time is going and where do we need help from different vendors for systems management. So if you look at it, there are 3 major categories. First one is leverage existing frameworks. Like our colleagues from Microsoft talked about, you would have already invested on your own consoles. Either it could be Microsoft System Center or vCenter, or certain other products like CA and HP Operations Managers. One is the investment of the cost and your training of your personnel. So when a new framework comes in, you don't want to throw away all of that and go and invest on a new framework. So the key aspect of that is any evolving systems management should seamlessly work with your existing infrastructure, and we will see how Dell's systems management aspects for the 12th generation is enabling that further, right? Then this is an important aspect. If you take a data center, bulk of the time either for maintenance or an issue, repair and fixing issues, there is a lot of downtime that comes into the picture. How can we automate it? How can we simplify that so that the number of steps or the number of tools that you need to do to accomplish your operations for your systems management becomes less. So that is the other key aspect of this finding. So let's take a few minutes on Dell's view on systems management. The key tenet, if I can call that out, is simplification. Simplification has multiple angles. Let me run through that one by one. This is at the core of it, right? We talked about monolithic system or proprietary system. Having said that, if you have invested in certain management consoles, when Dell comes with a new set of frameworks, you don't want to be discarding that, right? The existing framework should continue to work with that. You will see some examples of that, right? So this is again an important aspect. Don't treat management as silos, right? Now we need a show of hands. How many of you in an organization, you see islands of IT administration, one for server, one for storage, and one for networking, and maybe certain other for software. I see a couple of hands here, but that do happen. It's a practical problem, right? When you want to go through your maintenance or upgrade cycle, or there's an issue, the server administrator looks into only certain aspects, then hand off the problem to a storage administrator or a network administrator. But wouldn't it be nice if you have an end-to-end holistic systems management that kind of gives you the issues and recommendations so that the administrator can go quickly resolve the problem across any of these categories? So this is again a key aspect which we talked about as the evolution of the data center. Your systems management should be able to operate seamlessly between your physical and virtual infrastructure. As we talk to the many customers, like the examples quoted by Samir and Dr. Reza, speaking to 7,000 odd customers, we do understand you have a heterogeneous environment. When I say heterogeneous, not only the vendors, but you do have certain of your applications running on physical infrastructure and certain running on virtual infrastructure. You don't want to do certain things in certain ways for physical and go on to certain things for virtual. How seamlessly we can make this happen, right? That is another key aspect we have addressed. We will talk about it. So there are a lot of routine and tedious tasks, either for maintenance or for resolving issues, and administrators have to do it. How can we simplify this in terms of number of steps or number of tools? Or even better, how can we proactively predict and automate that? We will see some examples of that as we step into that. Okay, before we get into some specific product feature, this is a quick summary of the highlights that we will talk about it. Automate and remove agents. That's a key thing we want to do it. The importance of remove agent is once you have an agent running on your host system, whether it's physical or virtual, 2 or 3 things happens. One is it does take computing cycles, right? You may have mission critical applications running on your computing resource. You don't want that to be spent on some of the management and monitoring aspects. One. Second is then you need to have an agent for each of the platform that you want to be supporting. You could be running Windows, you could be running Red Hat, SUSE Linux, or certain other operating system. Then it becomes having multiple agents for each of these things, right? So wouldn't it be nice if an agent runs off the host so that it runs off the platform, the server platform you have, and enable you to monitor and manage your systems in a very seamless way? We will see an example of that. So this we already talked about it. So don't manage one piece at a time, because as a customers, the data center uptime is important for you. Whether it's just the email or the business applications you are running, even a couple of hours of downtime can cause several hundreds or thousands of loss of revenue for you, right? So we got to make sure systems are back and up and running very soon. So this one again repeated. Don't replace and connect. You have been used to a particular systems management console. Every 5 years, you don't have to go change it. You should be able to seamlessly scale up and integrate and cooperate with each other, right? So those are the key aspects. Now let's jump on to the key elements of Dell systems management portfolio. And by the way, if I didn't say this before, I'm very happy to say that this is the first time in the Dell's 12th generation of servers, we are talking about software and solutions, right? Software, by which I mean the systems management capabilities. What is really important about that is not to showcase our capabilities, but be listening to customers and addressing their problem and the journey in our transformation of not only providing servers, but providing more value-added software and solutions. So we are heading on the right direction on that, right? So I need to ask a question, okay? So how many of you know we introduced embedded server management in our 11th generation servers? Could you please show of hands? Okay, I see a couple of them. That's a fact. We did introduce that in the 11th generation, and we didn't do a good job to take this message to the customers, okay? But let you know a fact. We are the first one to introduce the embedded server management in the x86 industry to our customers. Simplification and automation. Essentially, reduce the number of tool sets for you to manage your the day-to-day IT operations. So this is a very specific piece. This is what we call as don't replace, connect, and work holistically. We do have integration with certain other consoles, and we will talk about that in the next 3 or 4 slides. Okay, so this is an important slide. Let's take a few minutes to gives Dell's actual practical product portfolio, right? What you see at the center, iDRAC with Lifecycle Controller. We are actually on Lifecycle Controller 2.0, okay? We released that in 11th generation, there is 1.0. For 12th generation, we have 2.0. iDRAC is a card that sits on the server embedded. Then it allows access to your server to do the management operations. Management operations spans right from monitoring alerts and events, and browsing through your event logs, and also the management operation of update and so forth, right? The interesting aspect of this is 2 or 3 things. One is it is out of band or agentless, right? By which what it means is the management and monitoring agents runs on this iDRAC controller, right? So even when your host is down, you can go ahead and do certain operations. And this makes it OS agnostics also, right? So that's an important aspect. We are in the 7th generation of the iDRAC controller. This in combination with Lifecycle Controller forms the heart of our embedded management. Let me take a couple of minutes to tell you what a Lifecycle Controller is. You buy a server, install a particular operating system, but on a timely period, you get updates for various things. Your BIOS changes, firmware changes, or that is for the server level. Then the cards that you have on the system, either your network card or storage cards, you get updates and patches for your drivers and firmwares for them also. It does take, and again, some of these are critical patches, you have to really go upgrade, right? If you have few servers, might be possible to do it in a quicker way, but imagine you have hundreds or even thousands of servers in your data center. You got to go pull the drivers from an internet or a support site, get it within your firewall, then you have to go apply that on each of your servers one by one, okay? What Lifecycle Controller provides, when you buy a Dell server, it has essentially 2 parts. One is it has an embedded flash card that has the drivers and firmware for all the things that you need to update on that server, right? So when the system ships out of the factory, you have all of that, the latest and greatest drivers embedded in that, right? So your next question will be, hey, what happens when this drivers and firmware get updated? There are 2 things that can happen. If you're a small and medium customer, you can have your server point to a Dell.com site, a support site, which checks what is the versions of these firmware and driver you have for different operating system. Is it changed? Go ahead and download that. So when the time comes to upgrade it, you can do that without media. So this is again a nice example of doing an update without media and additional tools, right? So this is the crux of it. I may kind of use this slide as a guiding framework, but let me kind of tell other fact that we have done. The iDRAC and Lifecycle Controller, we talked about the agentless point that we introduced in 11G server, right? In the 12th generation server, we have taken it to the next level. There are several performance and scalability and reliability improvements, but again, we are the first one in the industry to do the agentless management for storage and network controllers. For example, you have your storage cards, in the Dell's terminology, the PERC 8, attached to a direct storage. The embedded management can do an agentless monitoring for that. This is the first time in the industry that has happened. It is doable. The same feature is available for your CNAs, your network adapters, and the switches. Right? So we are very happy to announce this so that customers get the best benefits out of this. So that is the heart of it. That's the reason I wanted to spend a few minutes on it. Dell consoles. We have our own software consoles, the Dell OpenManage Essentials, which provides a one-to-many, a simple GUI to monitor the entire set of servers in the data center. OpenManage Power Center, we do have a couple of slides at the end. We will spend a few minutes on it. So this is an important, okay, let me see, where is that? Yeah. So iDRAC Lifecycle Controller, we did talk about a couple of problems, right? Your systems management should be able to work between physical and virtual servers in a seamless way. The iDRAC with Lifecycle Controller 2.0 or even the 1.x, the later versions, is integrated with vCenter, that is VMware vCenter, as well as the Microsoft System Center. So what it enables is, assume you want to use your vCenter for all of your management operations. For the Dell servers with Lifecycle Controller embedded on it, you can monitor, update, and do several management operations right from your vCenter console, and the same is applicable for the System Center. So this is a great benefit to the customers, so they don't have to go learn something new, but at the same time, in your data center, you have heterogeneous servers, and the Dell servers can be managed and monitored right from your vCenter or System Center console. So what else we have? Yeah, I'll touch a little bit on that, but let's run through this. I have about 4 minutes left here. So we do have integration with the popular consoles, the CA, HP Operations Manager, BMC, and so forth. This is to enable, this is a choice of console for you. It allows you to manage the Dell servers in a much better way. This is a pretty heavy slide. We already talked about the agent-free and the significance of that, not only for servers, but for your storage and networking, which is the first time in the industry to have an agentless management facility. Right? So this, we talked about it again. This integrates with vCenter and System Center very seamlessly, and you can do the operation from that. OpenManage Essentials, we do have a slide. A couple of things I want to highlight about it. The way we have come up with this one-to-many management console is, there are 2 or 3 things. We talked about reducing the number of steps. So the number of screens you need to navigate to do certain operations, or the number of clicks you need to do to complete an operation, those are all being incorporated into this, so you can get your work done much faster, much quicker. Okay, so what does it mean to the end user, right? It's a pretty heavy slide, but let's take a couple of minutes to talk about how does it help the administrators, right? So we talked about automation, simplicity, and other factors. The deployment with these framework, you can do that with 85% less administration time. So essentially it means the Lifecycle Controller providing the drivers and firmware, it allows you to do the deployment much faster, right? There are less manual steps, either the operation of the GUI or the performance aspects of the various subsystems have been taken into account so that you can do that in a much quicker way, right? These are a few other things. We need to spend a few minutes on it. So we do heard this problem as a concern from several customers. The embedded systems management provides error messages, but it's not very actionable. It just gives me this cryptic error message. I don't know what do I do with that. One major improvement we have done in this release is clear actionable messages. So based on the correlation of events that has happened over the time on the server, it not only reports an error, but it also recommends a suitable action to the administrators so that they can take corrective actions. This is on the, we have enabled the system log to have 1 million events. This is for certain audit and certain recovery mechanisms. What else you can say? So this, I'll skip it. So if you look at it, before I move on to these consoles and new other couple of other slides on OpenManage Power Center, the iDRAC plus the Lifecycle Controller embedded on each servers provides simplified, faster operation so that your deployment, update, monitoring, management can happen very seamlessly, right? So that's an important one. Dell OpenManage Essentials, as we talked about it, it provides a console for the one-to-many management. So this is a Dell only offering. For example, if you're using only Dell servers, Dell OpenManage Essentials leverages again the iDRAC and Lifecycle Controller to provide the events on its console. One nice point I want to talk about it. Many of you would be using Blade servers. One nice feature that this product has is let's say one of your blade has a failure, it not only shows the blade, but it correlates to the chassis on which this problem has happened. So as an administrator, you can quickly go locate where this is, so you can take corrective action. So let's spend a few minutes on this. The Dell management plugin for VMware vCenter. Here again, I need to repeat. Many times I have the conversation with customers or even some of the partners. We do get this question, hey, what is the Dell differentiation, right? The processors comes from Intel, and we take operating systems from, when we closely work with Microsoft, Red Hat, and other players to take the operating system, and we build products on top of that. So I'm here happy to say that we are the first one to do this management plugin for VMware vCenter, and this plugin directly goes into the Lifecycle Controller, right? And it also integrates with iDRAC. It's a very lightweight plugin. So from the vCenter, you can do several operations without having to go to another console or do it in a parallel way. Same thing applicable for OpenManage integration for Microsoft System Center. So this is again a good example. Dell always believed in giving, today morning and several other sessions we talked about the open aspect. Open should not be mistaken for open source. Open essentially means customer have choices, right? So you can buy a Dell server with Lifecycle Controller, and based on the type of applications you run, you can integrate with your VMware vCenter, or you can work with Microsoft System Center. So today in the early morning, the session before the lunch, our Intel colleague talked about the node manager future, okay? So this is an important aspect. If you take data center, there are 2 or 3 major challenges. One is the performance, the workload balancing, and those aspects. That is important. But the other critical factor, both for operations as well as the budget perspective, is the power-related thing, right? So power is being the most expensive element of the data center. Okay. So Intel has this mechanism called node manager, which is embedded in their current generation of processors. And that is exposed to iDRAC, the iDRAC and Lifecycle Controller we talked about. So essentially, iDRAC has an additional intelligence to monitor and meter the power utilization of a server, right? Again, taking it one level higher, what OpenManage Power Center does is, you can monitor, meter, and budget power at the server level, rack level, or the row level, right? So it's a very nice this is a very nice way to kind of control the power and cooling aspects of your data center. Hopefully, I think we have a demo at the Dell booth, and if you get a chance, make sure you take a look at it. I think this is the last but one slide. So essentially what it says is, so Dell has evolved over the last 6 to 10 years our systems management suite of products, and at the end of the session, I know there's a lot to absorb during this day with a lot of sessions going one after another, and I also understand sitting there and listening to all of this, many of them look the same, right? The intent of that is, we do have this saying, to have someone walk away with key messages, we need to repeat it, so that is an intention that we have this repeated. So Dell has systems management suite that is very high performance, allows administrator to do the operations in fewer steps with lesser number of tools, and by the way, it also allows you to do a holistic server storage and networking, first time in the industry, and also allow gateways to other consoles, so you don't have to really go and put those consoles away. So this is a sample of, hey, what does it mean to a customer? So this is actually a testimonial from one of our customers before they move to this iDRAC and Lifecycle Controller. Essentially, the time they take to administer, repair errors, or fix issues, the deployment for maintenance, or even for other issues, took considerable amount of their administrators' time. After they switched to iDRAC with Lifecycle Controller, these are the benefits, right? So this is actually a private cloud deployment. They can do the deployment of their private cloud 6x time faster. A key element of that is Lifecycle Controller enabling the deployment to happen off its internal device than getting videos and downloading stuff off the website. Close to 50 to 67 or 65% time reduction for the administrator time to do certain repetitive or common tasks. And this also as a result of the intelligent error messaging that's come into the new generation servers. And this is a little bit, again, tiny bit, but I'll go ahead and talk about it. Essentially, this is a time saved per administrator on a weekly basis, which they could go use it for other value-added projects. Thank you. I hope this session was useful to you, and I want to make sure we kind of give a glimpse of what we have in these systems management product in 12G.